Many believe that seeing 1111 on a clock or timestamp is significant for divine guidance and power when it comes to manifestation. It is said to settle the realization of being guided by a higher power and being connected to the universe on a higher, more spiritual level. Personally, think of it as a nudge from the universe to stay focused and keep working as good things that are coming on your way. This does not mean if you are having a bad day or feeling down and you see 1111 that your negativity will become positive. It's more like a friend reminding you to not back down, to focus on the bigger picture and believe in the larger force. We humans always require the presence of a larger force to believe that there is a larger force that controls things. That belief is what will get us out of every difficulty. Now, seeing 1111 is a message to be optimistic and realign your priorities in life as you wish for them to the universe. Anytime you have ever looked at a clock and seen that it was exactly 1111 when you looked at it, but is it a coincidence? Well, numerology says it's no. According to the ancient study, which believes in the divine or mystical significance of numbers, there is an important message from the universe. Every time you see this pattern of ones, what is this 111 or 1111 meaning? So let's get into it. Before we get into it, 1111 phenomenon, let's first discuss what numerology is all about. Numerology is defined as the study of the occult significance of numbers. In addition to being used in different astrology, mysticism, and fortune telling practices, the concept of giving certain numbers important meaning has long been used in several religions, from the ancient Greeks and early Christians to modern witchcraft, particularly in Christianity. The number 1 and especially the number 11 plays a major role as it stands for perfection, unity, and wholeness. The following phenomenon has probably happened to you before. You unsuspectingly checked the time and realized, hey, it's 11:11. Maybe this has even happened several days in a row. For many people, there's much more behind it than just a funny coincidence. Spiritualist people call this event the 11:11 phenomenon. Seeing the number evokes a feeling of significance because it's a mirror of twin numbers, and numerology attaches a great importance to the number 11 in particular. It represents a new beginning, the start of a new phase of life, or the imminence of positive events. So when you look at the clock and the two twin numbers face you, according to numerology, the universe wants to give you the supportive signal you have needed at that moment. Is there really a higher power behind all this symmetrical sequence of numbers, or is there a scientific explanation for the fact that we keep looking at the clock at the same time? Is it a coincidence or a signal from our guardian angel, or whatever it may be? So according to science, the reason you see 11:11 so often is primarily psychological. As an expert says, you are likely to experience, maybe it's an experiencing an error of perception. This tendency to interpret random patterns as meaningful. We humans are insanely good at noticing and registering certain things that are on our minds at the moment, more so than with the topics that don't seem so important to us. Are you thinking about whether you should really buy that new expensive bag? If so, you will almost certainly start seeing it everywhere. Have you and your partner or family, someone, started talking about pregnancy, trying to get pregnant? You may have that feeling that everything around you suddenly has to do with the babies. Or with a car you're looking for, suddenly you start seeing the same car that you're looking for. So the examples go on and on. Now, scientists call this phenomenon selective perception. The term describes the human characteristic of the psyche to perceive certain aspects in our environment more intensely while we completely block out others. In particular, our brain finds patterns attractive and very exciting, which is why we tend to unconsciously look at the clock at the same time every day and think it's a coincidence. Maybe. So they unconsciously entice us to perform certain actions over and over, often without properly registering the trigger stimulus. So if we whip out our phone at 11:11 a.m. several days in a row, a psychological thought pattern in our brain is usually responsible for this act or sudden coincidence thing. So, however, there is also another side to the same story, the metaphysical, the spiritual side, the illogical. Now, let's take a dig into it. Let's go to the rabbit hole. Researching the significance of sequential numbers reveals many views and metaphysical explanations. However, perhaps the most simple and most beautiful one. So it basically explains that those who first start seeing or searching for the meaning of level 11 are awakening to the vibratory changes around them. Our planet is changing and consequently our reality is also changing. All things including numbers have specific vibrations and accompanying frequencies. The number 11 is a very spiritual and powerful number, and just like the other numbers and symbols around us, the 1111 vibration is establishing itself as part of the collective consciousness. Numerologists believe that events linked to the time 1111 appear more often than can be explained by chance or mere coincidence. This belief is related to the concept of synchronicity. Some authors claim that 1111 signal a spirit presence. Others that saying 1111 is an auspicious sign and the numbers themselves have a mystical powers. Interestingly, the 11th day of the 11th month marks some powerful events in contemporary history. The armistice that ended the fighting in Western Europe during the First World War took effect at 11 a.m. Paris time on November 11th, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Remembrance Day, honored in all parts of the Commonwealth, is a tradition of observing 1 minute of silence at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Data reveals an increase in the number of marriages that took place around the world on the 11th day and the 11th month 2011. Global God's Day is celebrated on the 11th day of the 11th month. So, on a metaphysical basis, the appearance of these numbers is said to occur more frequently with those who have opened themselves to the spiritual guidance and self-discovery. Many relate experiencing a feeling of being lovingly pushed to establish a conscious connection with the higher self and the universal or the God energy. The depth of 1111 connection would appear to be synchronized to our level of awareness and understanding of how fundamental the connection that exists between the physical and the spiritual world. The number 11 is a very powerful number by itself. In numerology, the number 11 is a master number which represents inspiration, illumination, and spiritual enlightenment. There are great many explanations as to what it means to be aware of this event. One is connection with the angels, and what it means is that those working specifically with the angelic realm and its energy hold firmly to the understanding that if you are continually seeing the number 11, 1111, 111 or 1111, then you are experiencing an angelic communication. The synchronicity is a number. It is said that the most common way that the angels communicate is through the universal language of numbers and music. Now, when you see a synchronistic number, the first thing you should do is to stop for a moment and become aware of what thoughts or actions you are engaged in that very moment, the very time. Applying a heightened awareness to your current surroundings, such as the song playing within your hearing or simple beauty of a smile or the natural world. What it says is that you have to be aware of the situation that you are in now. The universe is creating a very powerful moment in which your intentions will manifest with a degree of speed and efficiency never before you experienced. Right? It also represents the doorway between the two worlds, between the third dimension and dimensional worlds. This also has another theory that it encapsulates several theories within the same premise. 1111 unlocks your DNA and opens the subconscious mind through physically seeing the digital numbers and remembering why your brain was coded to remember the importance of 1111. When you see 1111, you feel connected with the universe and everyone else who is currently experiencing this phenomenon. You completely understand that what we are all one means it's a global consciousness. Presence 1111, you an opportunity to reflect on your spiritual purpose for being here. So some days there is for some says there is a spiritual significance and meaning for it, while others say it's just a pattern of behavior you constructed and it's a psychological issue. Now everything has two sides. If you believe it's true then. If you don't believe, that is also true.